lords and ladies of the realm, as we meet once again, unto his word we shall be spoken, and sing with all the orangutans and fruit bats once again as we meet at Trapped Under Plastic. Oh, yeah.
The podcast for the miniature hobby enthusiasts and all for you D-suckers and goody peepees.
I thought we were going to speak like this for the rest of the episode.
Quiet. I like how you just threw in a bunch of like random like Monty Python words in the middle.
I felt that's where I landed.
Yeah.
That's where we were.
All right, John.
All right, so I got a weird story.
Does it involve the topic in the Preamble Ramble? Because if not, I'm going to have to ask you to stay on task here, okay?
We'll get there. We're going to take it.
Okay.
Psych, no, it doesn't. So yesterday, I'm downstairs in the basement working. My wife is up in the upstairs working, and she sends me a text message, and she's like, "Do you like magic?" ? I'm like, this is weird.
This is going places.
And I just sent her like a GIF back of like Jimmy Fallon going like, "What?" Because that felt appropriate. And she says, "Somebody from your team at work emailed me and asked if you like magic." And I'm like, you need to email them back and say, he fucking loves magic. And say nothing else. And she's like, I have no idea what that has to do with anything. And I'm like, well, my birthday is next week.
Wizard-themed stripper.
And for my team at work, when it's somebody's birthday, since we're now in the bullshit era of Zoom meetings nonstop all day, every day, when it's somebody's birthday, we have like a team meeting, they pull together like this crappy PowerPoint where everyone like does gives a little birthday card or whatever. And they always have some kind of weird theme to them. So I'm like, I know what they're doing. They're going to have some kind of weird theme for my birthday around magic. I have never talked about magic, performed magic, spit magic at Scott's face at work ever in my life. Why would you ask, do I like magic?
Because someone already has a magic-themed something, and they're like, oh, John's birthday is coming up. Can we use this thing we already have?
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
So I think,
for shame.
I don't know it's going to happen, right? Because she's like, you can't tell her that I talked to you about this. My wife said this, because it's supposed to be a surprise. I'm like,
I like how the work person asked your wife in confidence, and she just like fucking asked you.
Immediately text me. I'm like, God, there are no secrets here. So I feel like I need to show up to the meeting in like a full dark robe with a hood on it.
Yes.
And a Harry Potter wand. And
yes.
I'm like, hello, Harry.
Yeah. I was gonna say like Gandalf regalia, but that's pretty good too. They're both good.
Okay. This has nothing to do with the podcast. However, it does involve magic. And that is what we do. We paint with magic. And that is my connection of this story
Christ.
to this podcast. Scott, what's on your Preamble Ramble? You're talking about something right now, I think.
So I just finished painting up Queen Guinevere, Gwenny, from the Echoes of Camelot. Camelot!
Gwen Stefani.
Hold on. Another Preamble Ramble topic. Just before this podcast, someone emailed me, and they're like, I bought Faygo from a gas station. And I was like, take that, Diet Do. Our video inclusion of soda means something.
Yeah.
So that was funny.
I also have, but I can't reveal it now. I've got something that will be revealed to you in good time.
Okay.
And it will be revealed live on the Trapped Under Plastic podcast. So you should clench your beehole now, because it's coming.
That's a long time to clench, though.
Yeah, well.
Wait, is it coming this episode?
No.
Wow.
It's not. You don't know what episode it's coming.
Wow.
But it's coming.
Okay.
And all the goody peepees will be on the inside joke. Everyone but you will know about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Why? Because it's like in a video or something like that?
Nope, it's not. It will be unveiled live.
Well, thank you for finding a brush cap. Okay. I
one.
painted Guinevere from Echoes of Camelot.
Okay.
With
Faygo?
Not with Faygo. I was drinking Faygo.
Mm.
Not a sponsor. I'm just, it's so difficult to paint models nowadays. No. That's not it. I think miniature painting, casting, and sculpting technology has gotten so good that they don't realize that they're actually too good. so good that it makes it unenjoyable to paint.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like if for a moment we just look at the band of her crown, there is a top ridge, the band, and a bottom ridge. And it's like, what the fuck? It's so hard to paint. And for someone like me who really struggles with like wanting everything to be very, I like to put a bow on literally every detail of the model, like nice crispy recessed shades and edge highlights everywhere. It's just the style I like to do. It makes the painting so very difficult. Or like all the filigree on both of her gauntlets. So I feel like, and this is the thing we talked about with GW in terms of like adding too many details. Mm-hmm. I think when it comes to display models, we just need to tone down the level of tiny sculpted detail. And that could be a problem with the models that I'm making too. I mean, that was a problem, I think, when you were painting a model for the Kickstarter video, right? Like there were some runes that were just so small, it was ridiculous to even like paint those, right?
I don't think there really was on the Warrior. He really didn't have a lot of the little fiddly things. I think the one that Ben painted was
fiddly.
I mean, I noticed them on there, just a couple of very shallow depth runes.
Yes.
So it's really hard to like do anything of substance with those.
Yes. And we fixed that immediately. When Ben said that was a problem, I reached out to my sculptor, my caster. I was like, hey, we're going to change this so we can make it more enjoyable to paint. So yeah, let me know if you guys experienced that while painting larger scale, 54, 75 millimeter scale minis. It's just like, dang, just because you can do it doesn't mean everything needs to be so fucking tiny. So yeah. That's a Preamble Ramble.
I think the one thing that Games Workshop does well, and they're not the only one that does this well, but they have like Bojangles on top of Bojangles. That's not what they do well.
Yeah.
I'm really spitty today. I spit on you like 3 times already.
It's the dew.
In that Death Wish coffee on the drive up.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like fucking on caffeine times 10 right now.
Cranking on all cylinders.
You did a Death Wish and now you're doing Diet Dew?
I really do have a Death Wish. Is that their details, although there may be a lot of them, they all seem to be, or majority seem to be very crisp and have a like nice depth to them,
beginning and end. Yeah.
Yes, they're very well defined, and I think sometimes that's what you find in some of the larger scale models, or even when you're 3D printing stuff. Some of those details are just not as well defined, and sometimes where you're trying to figure out like, what's the difference? Of course, there's a little bits of the layer lines. Sometimes there's a little bit of where the supports hit. What is the really big difference in why 3D printed models are not as nice as like a plastic cast or a resin cast? And a lot of that is just the crispness and the well-defined details I find oftentimes are not there all the time.
Yeah. The sculptor really matters. I use 2 sculptors for my wood elves, and I don't want to throw shade at anyone, but one was more experienced than the other sculptor. Just had more sculpts under his belt. And I didn't tell really my caster that I was changing much of the sculpting personnel, and he could tell immediately. He was like, these other models are much more considerate of the casting process, and how that is defined is like how well a model can get pulled out of a mold without damaging it, and that has to do with like how fine the detail is, how shallow it is, and stuff like that. So it comes down to the sculpting isn't just about making things that look beautiful; it's also making things that can be like sculpted and casted like reliably and well. So yeah, cool stuff.
Couple things here real quick. One, they're connected. Last episode, we said that we were going to celebrate 10,000 members on the Facebook Goody PP Facebook group, but we hadn't actually hit it. But this time we have hit it.
Poggers.
So the Tup Nation has grown. We're no longer a village. We are now a city.
Yes.
The city of Tupperinos. So thank you all for joining us there in the Wild West that it sometimes is.
We should have the Tupperinos vote on what their favorite name is for referring to them as.
Yeah.
Or maybe it should just constantly change.
Right. Yeah, because we want people resting on their laurels here,
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'm a goody peepee. Yeah, are you? But
Are you a Tupperware? I mean, are you Tupperino?
are you the Tuppo Suave himself?
Yeah, that one has endless uses.
But also, I hit a little anniversary myself. I hit 1 year on YouTube.
If I had one of those popper things, I'd pop them right now.
Yeah, I
Congratulations.
hit 1 year at my 26th video, last video, which every other Friday, it's 52 weeks. It's 1 calendar year of videos. And gosh, it does not seem like it's been that long. It feels like I just started doing it. And I make a habit of not going back and rewatching my old videos. But I feel like if I watched like my first couple of videos, maybe I'd feel a little better because I feel like I still like there's a lot of things I want to do better and like from the quality perspective. And
What's
everything.
one thing you want to do better?
It seems silly, but it's just something I want to have more interesting shots, more active footage that isn't either me talking or me painting. I want like this extra layer of storytelling. You do it really well. Trent does it really well.
Yeah.
Two of the people that I look up to that really do that aids in that storytelling and also aids in creating a connection from like who I am or your personality with the audience. Yeah. And that's something I really want to get better at. And so
it also increases engagement because like if a viewer can just anticipate the entire edit of a video, it might get a little boring.
Yep.
But if it changes it up, camera angle, focal length, movement, all kinds of stuff, it helps.
And what's stopping me from that is really just like internalizing the structure of how I go about doing that. Is like, well, do I just have another camera rolling when I'm doing this? Do I have this all planned out of I need these 6 shots? Do I just like every time I'm doing something related to this process, I've got a side camera and I just flick that on and what I use. I just haven't figured out a comfortable natural way to make that structure because I kind of have worked into what my time allotment is and what my time availability is to make a video. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I kind of like use that time up. Mm-hmm. So
would you like to buy a motion control rig?
That seems like a big commitment.
Yeah. It takes quite a long time to set it up for certain shots.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Also, you're in a position here, and you know Trent does the same thing where he actually has a workspace like this. Yeah. He's got a backdrop behind him.
Yes.
And then you have a space where you can put things in front or off to the side to show this.
Yes.
I'm actually painting at a wall.
Yeah, it makes it more challenging.
So
I believe I told you this.
I think you did.
Okay.
Mistakes were made.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a mistake. Maybe you get a little floating island in that room.
Yeah, I could even one day kick that freaking work desk that's off to the side out of there and then run a little L shape off of that.
Oh, yeah. A little nook.
A little nookerino.
A little hobby nook.
Yeah, a little nookie.
Nookie swan.
I do it all for the nookie. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this is a part of the podcast where it gets a little bit awkward. We'll sing some Fred Durst up in here.
Fred Durst? Give me a Fred Durst song.
I just did.
Do it all for the nookie?
Yeah.
What is it actually called? Is it actually called that?
Nookie is the name of the song. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew I'd like heard that phrase before, but like I had zero clue where it came from.
Yeah, this some terrible late 90s rap rock.
Oh God, yeah.
Y'all be feeling this shit right here, LIMP. Limp Bizkit, baby.
My soul hurts right now.
Well, this is what happens. The Preamble Ramble goes too long.
All right, John. What did you paint?
What did I paint? So I'm in a little bit of an odd predicament right now where I'm my next video is featuring models from a company called Creature Caster, and I haven't received those models in the mail yet. Supposed to paint. I usually paint. Week 1 is paint. Week 2 is create the video. It's Friday of paint week, and I don't have the models.
Well, what have you been doing for the week?
I've been building all of my Adeptus Mechanicus.
Oh, God.
I've built like 1,700 points of Adeptus Mechanicus this week.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that fucking sucks, dude. I honestly think it's going to take dollars to donuts. It's going to take me more time to build those models than it is to paint that army.
Probably, yeah.
It's just ridiculous to think how long it freaking takes to build models. And I don't dislike it. I dislike it when you look.
Sounds like you dislike it.
I enjoy it in the micro, in the macro. It's freaking overwhelming.
Like one cat at a time kind of thing.
Yeah. And they're at like I know what those robots look like.
Robots.
I've never built one. I've never looked at them really up close and stuff. You've seen the pictures. I know what they look like. I can picture in my head. But actually going through and building them, I was like, these are really cool robots. I really like the aesthetic of them. So I love it. I'm like, I'm learning more about this little army, and not reading any lore, but
lore's for losers.
But I'm really digging, kind of this army. It looks really cool. So I have some really cool ideas of painting them. But so that's what I've been doing. I've been keeping very busy this week on other things. I did some stuff for like my Patreon. I sent out some models that I painted to my patrons. I got stuff in the mail. I did administrative work that I
fucking hate administrative work.
Oh, it's like that. It's important, but it's not urgent. That's kind of the kind of thing. And so stuff that falls to the back, I've been trying to keep up on, catch up on, that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, it's like the kind of stuff that you need to do, but like when you do it, you don't feel like you're being productive.
Yes.
And that fucking blows. It's like I just spent 4 hours answering emails, like responding to maybe some DMs, like doing like a behind the scenes post on Patreon, maybe scheduling a video for release, making a thumbnail, and it's just like I've done nothing. But you need to do that stuff.
Yeah. I downloaded OBS on my computer. I read a little bit on their website and feel completely overwhelmed, but I'm sure there's YouTube videos out that'll help me figure that out. So that kind of stuff is like, I want to do that someday. Well, today needs to be the day. So I've been keeping pretty busy, but also kind of freaking out. I also went through my process of figuring out what this video is going to be about and did some of like my legwork, my research on that. Anyway, what did I actually paint? The only thing since our last episode that I forgot we were talking about that. The only thing that I've actually painted is I painted my Graveguard test model on stream on Scotty Boo's Streamerino last Friday, which will be 2 Fridays ago when this comes out. And I kind of dig the actual color scheme. It would probably fiddled with too much time if I'm gonna do probably 2 units of 10 of these.
Yeah. You're exploring.
Yeah, but I like the color. I like this like dirty green plus this kind of crimson red as a spot. Oh, my tummy's going raw.
Your tummy's speaking right now. It also painted.
It wants some of them hard cookies.
No, there's none in this house. None
hard cookies in this house?
Maybe there's some Oreos, but I haven't been eating anything with preservatives in it.
Oh wow. Have you been just freebasing MSG?
No, wait, maybe I put some MSG in some things.
Dude, MSG's the shit.
It's not a preservative though, is it?
It's not. It's better.
Because
preservatives are chemicals, right?
Right. Well, I suppose
MSG is a chemical that like changes your brain chemistry.
No, it isn't. Come on.
It does.
You're just reading into that like anti-MSG like propaganda because Americans hate Chinamen. And
okay, listen here, Nissan Nefu.
MSG is amazing. It's like in everything we eat, pretty much.
Uncle Roger said MSG not bad for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it is or it isn't, but it's tasty.
I was feeling pretty good about my first year in YouTube until I realized Uncle Roger just had his 1-year anniversary.
Oh, don't even.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's got 4 million subscribers in a year.
At least you can make videos about more things than fried rice, okay?
Well,
that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
Also, he's a comedian. That's what he is a comedian, but like, so the YouTube channel is 1 bit. It's Uncle Roger. Do you know how like creatively destroying that is for that comedian to only ever do 1 joke forever?
Yeah, I mean that's like an actor that's just known for 1 role forever.
I know.
Like you are. What's a good example?
That is gonna be soul sucking at a certain point.
Yeah, I mean he will be able to like dry his tears on his mountain of money. But like, what's a good example of an actor that is just typecast because this is what they're known for? This is their role.
Nick Cage is a little bit of like a crazy man typecast at the moment.
I think more of to me, the TV side of things makes it real. It seems more obvious. Like, any of the cast of Friends can never do anything else, right? They're just you're Joey, you're Chandler, right? Chandler Bing. That's who you are. Like, you can't be that.
Have you ever seen Lost in Space, the movie? Not the super old one, but the one that was like 1997 or something like that.
Oh yes,
That guy
I
from
don't.
Friends is in it.
Yeah, it was terrible. I think that movie's terrible.
Was it terrible? Okay,
I watched the whole
don't
thing 'cause
know.
it was so bad.
I don't know, but I watched it as a young lad, and I have very fond memories of it, so I always watch it. It's a very fucking quotable movie, as it's very good.
Okay. Well, like, also there are other ones. This was probably all before your time. Like, anyone from from the show Seinfeld, like Kramer. Kramer is Kramer.
Well, Kramer is also like anti-Semitic, so like he's not gonna get any roles anymore.
Oh,
anyways.
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was his whole thing. Like, he had the last set he ever did as a comedian. He just started going off about Jewish people, and it's just like, whoa. And
Which is really ironic because the show that he was in was about Jewish people in New York. Like,
oh yeah, I never realized that, but yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Shoot, I just had another one that was more up to date. Anyway, so yeah, Uncle Roger is the character that he is, right? And,
Yeah.
and people are weirded out by like the name of his YouTube channel has nothing to do with that. Like,
Yeah, it's because in Eastern culture, you refer to like friends of the family as aunties and uncles, and so like even your dad's friend, he's uncle.
yeah. That's why he calls people niece and nephew. That's funny. He's got some great lines.
Yeah.
Hey-ya.
It's a good.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is worse than Jamie Oliver. I watch your stuff so much.
yeah,
so
dude,
funny.
he shits on all kinds of fried rice. It's
Yeah,
pretty
he
good.
does.
Actually, he shit on this one fried rice that some person did. I think she was English. And then he went to meet her, like, in person. And I was like, that takes some balls to do. But yeah, he's good. I like him.
Oh, okay. I don't know what anything has to do with painting minis.
It doesn't. We went on a little bit of a tangent about MSG. And Roger.
MSG. That's what we got here.
Oh, yeah. I mentioned not eating. You said
Cookies.
Your stomach wanted cookies. And I said
Oreos, preservatives, MSG,
Uncle Roger. Mountains of money. Okay, I painted Queen Guinevere. Everyone already said that. I kind of like stumbled through this paint scheme. I painted the face first because people say to do that sometimes, and I didn't mind doing that. And then I painted the scale mail next, kind of trying to paint everything that was like internal to her.
Yeah, inside out.
Yeah.
Good technique.
And then I painted the robes, and I really had no idea what I was doing with them. And normally, the thing to me that takes the largest surface area on the model tends to be like a vibrant color. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it was cream. So I think that makes sense because like everything that you want to look at is surrounded by fabric, right? So the core of the model is colorful and it's surrounded by like this beige. And then from there, I kind of did other tiny things like the hair, the quiver, and the straps and stuff.
It's a good contrast.
Contrast.
Because you have these very saturated, interesting colors and textures and everything, and then it's like I said, it's like a picture framed, by a very kind of neutral thing. And also, to me, it tells a story because she's obviously has this golden accoutrement and this fancy
I love saying the words like
bustier, and a crown, and yet her robes are very plain, like. Her actual regal queen robes, those aren't her queen robes. She's out there in the swamp in
she's
peasant's
hunting boar
clothes
right now, dude.
Peasant's clothes to like slay some gobloids or something.
Yeah, dude, warrior queen.
Yeah, like she got out of the castle. You try to pretend to be a little servant person.
You got a little cart with pumpkins in it.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh no! Here it comes! Here comes a bit! Here comes a bit! Watch out, everyone! John's gonna do a bit!
Oh yeah, I'm just a cook down in the cellars here today, and we need to go out to the bakery and get some loaves of bread. Don't mind me, I'm just leaving the castle.
You got a little limp. Just kind of pretend like you're like little old lady.
Yeah. She's hobbling with her cart.
Yeah.
There's definitely not a bow and arrows in this cart. Don't worry about me.
She's like 4'11", and then she takes the hood off, and she's like fucking 6'1", like fucking
gold everywhere.
Yeah.
How did I get in this swamp here? This isn't the bakery, me lord.
I could see him. I could see him fucking revving up for an accent. He's just like in slow mo almost. All right, yeah. So I painted her.
Yeah, I think it's cool. You obviously did this for fun and not for a video, and I appreciate that. What is this? What is this?
Column A, little column B.
Oh, this is a Crazy Winky?
Yeah.
That's a nice little Crazy Winky. Not sponsored, but Crazy Winky makes great plinths and bases.
Manuel Venkart.
He's also going to be maybe doing something very fun for us in the future, and we need to talk more about that. I show you the picture?
It's weird because he's doing something very fun for me in the future as well.
Well, good. He's going to be doing something very exciting and fun for all the goody peepees in the future as well.
Very cool.
Yeah. We need to talk about that.
One thing I will say about this model is that actually, you know what? I'm going to say it for the extended podcast.
Oh, no. What are you talking? What's the extended podcast?
Sorry to bait you. That actually is a thing that I have listed down here for the after party. The extended podcast is just a part of the episode. It's an episode that's longer than the normal one you see here on YouTube that includes all kinds of stuff. The thing I'm talking about is something new that we've tried in the past 2 weeks. So I'm going to keep that for this.
Keep it secret.
Keep it safe.
Now that Trapped Under Plastic has hit the big time, we get sponsors. Not often, but sometimes they're our friends. And sometimes they are for a Kickstarter called Uncharted Land.
Uncharted Lands is a Kickstarter for a brand new book and a massive 3D printable collection.
It's brought to us by our good friend Danny from Miami, a.k.a. Danny from the YouTube channel 3D Printed Tabletop. And this Kickstarter features 8 printable collections, not 8 printable models, 8 full collections, each representing a different place in the lore of Uncharted Lands.
This is Danny's third Kickstarter of this style after 2 successful campaigns. Each set of models include pre-supported bosses, miniatures, buildings, and scatter. Personally, the terrain is what I'm most excited about. So many different varieties for each collection. You could easily outfit any game you could imagine.
The book and the models also include 10 new encounters, brand new races, subclasses, magic items, spells, and even wood elves.
Did someone say wood elves?
You gonna be okay over there?
No. At the time of recording, the campaign has smashed its funding goal, unlocking 32 stretch goals, including 7 new bosses, buildings, terrain, minis, and additional book content.
And the pricing is a little bit unbelievable. For $60, you get the entire set of files, and for an additional $20, you can get the 120-plus page book, including all the content you need for running an epic campaign with all of this awesome crap.
Thank you to Danny for sponsoring the podcast. If you want to check out his campaign, it's linked down in the description below or in the show notes if you're an audio listener. Now back to the podcast of Tupperinos. All right, today we got a little topic brought to us by a patron. Isn't it from a patron? It is from a patron.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you intro it, and I'll find the patron's name because we're terrible people and we didn't list it.
Yes. So today's topic is about converting your normie friends into mini painting. And maybe a little bit wider net than that as well. Like explaining mini painting to your mom or your neighbor, or getting other people at least aware of what you're doing and not make yourself look like a weirdo in the process. That's what we're going to talk through today, I think.
Brain Bean. He said, none of my friends seem to be interested in getting into Warhammer. I've fallen in love with the hobby and want to start playing games and hanging out with other people who enjoy this hobby. Aside from chancing it by going to a local shop, how do you recommend making new hobby friends? Or how would you guys coerce your friends into the dark side?
I think coercing your current friends is probably a good idea.
I mean, they're your friends, right? Like they're probably not going to go anywhere unless you have a falling out. So trying to coerce them is always fun.
Yeah, I like taking a 2-pronged approach too, because like a lot of my friends that I have now, I didn't know them prior to this hobby. Like I met them through this hobby. So I think you can kind of do 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You know what I mean? Like make some new friends so you can, you're not having to do all this heavy lifting and feel like there's always this burden of you like trying to get people on board, and it's people that already love it, and then try to convert some.
Okay.
Friends. I think that's a healthy way to go about it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can explain how to do both things. Pending COVID, a great way to make new hobby friends is to run a campaign for a game that you want to play in your area. And a great way to find people to play in that campaign is by maybe talking about that campaign on a local Facebook group or getting in contact with your local game store, maybe putting out a flyer at your store. Maybe have some contact information on there, like an email, and then you'll find maybe a couple people to play in a campaign. I know once upon a time, we wanted to do I believe, Warhammer Age of Sigmar skirmish campaign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and Danimal.
Yeah, or something. I thought you were playing in it.
This is way back when we first met with our first one.
Escalation campaign?
Yeah, so it's Path of Exile?
Path to Glory.
Path to Glory.
Yes.
Path to Exile is a video game.
Yes.
Path to Glory was a new thing, and it was right around the time when I first got into the hobby. And so you were like, let's do a Path to Glory campaign. And then at the same time, one of my other buddies in Rochester was like, let's do one here. So we got one started in Rochester, and then I was like, I'm not driving up to the Twin Cities when I can do it down here. Figure it out for yourself, Scott. Bye!
But yeah, when I did that, I found some people who I never met before and who were interested in playing the campaign. It never happened, but they were easy to find. So advertising in your LGS or in your local Facebook groups. I know the Minnesota one has a couple that are great for finding games for 40K and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. When I started ours, at that time there wasn't an Age of Sigmar scene really at all in Rochester. It was like, I think some people had models or armies or whatever, but there wasn't like regular games, or not many people at all played the game. So one thing that really helped for us was I knew the owner of the main dude in the hobby store, because this is one of those stores that had focused more on like model trains and like RC cars and crap like that, but they just like also carried Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
And got the guy that worked at the store in on the campaign. Like, get him interested, right? Because if he's interested in the people coming in to buy Warhammer or whatever, bam, I got somebody boots on the ground that's going to do the talking for me. And through him, over the course of like a month, we spread their word out on Facebook and stuff, but like him talking to people that came in and saying, here's how it works. It's really cool, blah, blah, blah. It's really easy for you to start in. You don't even need any models. You don't need a couple to start. It was awesome. And we got like, I think our group was like 10 people in a not a very large town that had no Age of Sigmar scene. So I think working with what's going to make your life easier is, who are the people that know the people already that, so, pony up to somebody in the local store if there's a store.
That's another good option. Also, like, be the change you want to see in the world. If you have a game that you love and like no one's playing it, play the game and get people excited about it, which is a great segue into how to coerce your friends into playing games with you. I think so. I have a video that's currently in production about this exact process, and what I did was just I think one of the coolest things about this hobby is just the overwhelming amount of options there are, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I was like, hey, okay, you guys want to play a fantasy or a skirmish game? Okay, I want to play sci-fi. Or sorry, what did I say? What did I say?
Fantasy
or a skirmish game?
Skirmish game.
You want to play a sci-fi or a fantasy skirmish game? Okay, I want to play sci-fi. Okay, cool. Here are all the cool races you can play as, and here are all their characteristics. And it's like, okay, I identify with this kind of thing more. And now we're picking out the models. What kind of squad do you want? Like, what do you want them to specialize in? Okay, cool. After that, it's like, okay, how do you want to paint them? Like, what speaks to you? Like, what do you want to base it on? There's so many things to think about and personalize that when you're done and at the end of the road, I believe it feels like you have this ownership over this unit of people because you made all these choices along the way.
You are a cult leader,
basically.
Yes,
essentially.
That's how that works.
Of tiny plastic men.
Yeah. Now they have to do whatever you say because you convinced them this whole time to do these things. And you're like, I want a cheesy gordita crunch. Get it for me now.
Smell your farts. You can fart in their face and they can't do anything about it.
No. That's that. They signed the contract.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so showing people the ability to choose and have options and autonomy over like exactly what they want their hobby to look like is a good first step.
So talking about the converter, right? We're converting. We're not converting our models today. We're converting people. I think a really important factor.
That was a really good joke. I think we need to give that a little bit more praise here. Okay, 2 seconds of clapping. All right, there we go. Now we can move on.
Thank you, niece and nephew. So one thing that I think is really important for this journey, if you're actually wanting to like get your friends into something that excites you, is to really understand where their interests lie already. Okay. What part of your friendship or your communal interests kind of intersects with this hobby? So you're going to make your life easier. Okay. Let's say you both love video games, right? So you've been friends since you were in school and then you guys played World of Warcraft together and you play blah, 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 blah. Whatever. You find what thing that you know they're already interested in, and you show them the aspect of this hobby, because this hobby's got a lot of sides to it. You show them the aspect of this hobby that would resonate with their brain that likes that thing. So if they like World of Warcraft, you can be like, wouldn't it be sweet if you could actually look at these 3D models that you could 3D print? They're of like World of Warcraft characters, and you could print them and paint them. You have statues on your wall next to your computer, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Does that excite them? Is them thinking like, oh, remember when we used to play, PvP in Warsong Gulch and ripping some shit up? Like, wouldn't it be sweet to play a game on the table that was like 5v5 like that? Mm-hmm. And would that be cool or whatever? And so you kind of get them envisioning the thing that they already have an interest in. Mm-hmm. And you just spin it to little dudes on the tabletop instead.
Exactly. I mean, you could even take a half step in between those two things and be like, if they're into video games, play a Warhammer video game. Play Vermintide, Yeah. Like an actual good one. Like there's a lot of shitty ones out there, but like Vermintide's a good one. That'd be a good like way to step into like the universe of Warhammer and be like, okay, what's the deal with this pyromancer, with these wood elf things, with these high elf things,
They don't exist anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, maybe not Vermintide.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's not about introducing them to the end game. It's about just making it feel like it's a very low barrier of entry for them.
This feels kind of wrong, doesn't it?
Right? Listen. The way you think and how you spend your time is stupid.
John's about to construct a pyramid scheme of converting people into miniature painters.
Right. Okay, listen. Every time you get them into the hobby, they have to buy one bottle of paint. And then you get that bottle of paint. But then I also get a bottle of paint. And then that person gets a new person. They get a bottle of paint. You get a bottle of paint. And I get a bottle of paint. Everybody gets more paint. This seems great.
I mean, yeah. So, like, it doesn't sound that bad. I don't actually know what's wrong with pyramid schemes. But, okay, no. Moving on. Yeah, so more generically, in this hobby, there are so many franchisable or already franchised subjects to just purely paint, right? You mentioned Warcraft. That's a great one. As far as games go, we have, like, the DC universe, the Marvel universe. What are some other ones? Harry Potter, Star Wars. There are huge franchises. And I'm going to guess if you're into miniature painting and you have friends, they're probably just a little bit geeky, probably, right? Birds of a feather. Right. So maybe they're into one of those things. And starting there is a great way, especially if it's like a game. Now, if you don't have geeky friends and they're kind of into other topics, the world of display painting is even bigger than gaming.
Sure.
Because you don't have to be limited to developing a game system to make a cool model, right? And so, for instance, you have friends who are Camelot kids, fan of Arthurian lore. There's a Kickstarter campaign for that. There is a whole universe of historical miniatures from all around the world that represent all different cultures and time periods that could get people into that.
It could just be an art nerd in general.
Exactly, yeah. There are very cool subjects from an art perspective to paint. And that'd kind of be an easier sell if they were just kind of into art in the first place.
Yeah, I think so. It's how you approach it. You don't talk to them about an Age of Sigmar army.
Right, yeah.
If they're an art nerd.
Sure.
Probably. Like, you talk to them, you get them into the these are freaking amazing, like fantasy models. I know that I've seen your sweet ass unicorn paintings. Like, dude, let's try this.
Let's play this. Didn't you have a unicorn model from Massive Darkness?
Yeah, I do. Still have it. It's my precious. Yeah, so I think that's an easier way. Okay, I wanna pump the brakes a little bit here. Okay, I have friends.
Do you?
In all circles.
Do you?
You know, I have friends in all circles.
John prides himself on his ability to be a chameleon, a social chameleon.
Yeah. So I have my what I will just describe as my fantasy football friends. Okay, so these are men, and we have women that play in our league as well. They're also like women. So you know, like they
women. All right.
Like I don't even want to say the word Warhammer around them because like you just see the look on their face and they're like, "Hey man, are you watching the Patriots game? The Pats are playing this Sunday. It's gonna be awesome."
Dude, Blood Bowl though, dude?
No, like these are not those people.
Okay.
These are not those people. I'm not gonna talk to them about this shit.
So this is about knowing your audience?
Yes. You need to understand, look.
There are rules here.
Right. If you go to the White Sox game with James and James's dad, you know, once a month during baseball season, you know, and you're talking about how crappy the closer is and stuff, it just may not be that James and James Sr. are really all that interested in this kind of thing.
Yeah, if they ask you what you do for a hobby, you just don't talk about painting miniatures.
I mean,
you hide that shit deep down.
Deep down. You bury it. You bury it in hard cookies.
Hard cookies.
Are you like Chuck went over the bow? You know, just like, boo. Oh yeah,
I'm into painting.
Yeah, I paint these awesome little toys.
No. Just painting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I paint small statues.
I'm into painting. I'm into art. You know,
Yeah.
I got an artistic bent.
And then, you know, come to find out, maybe James Sr., he's retired now. You know, he's got time on his hands.
What's he do?
You know, he's like, oh, really? Oh, that's kind of cool.
He fucking is into model kits.
Yeah, he's got like the whole fucking USS Saratoga in his den.
He was like back in the 60s, me and my dad used to put together fucking submarines.
Yeah, submarinos.
With Humbrol paint. You know Humbrol paint, sonny boy?
You don't even know this enamels.
Back in my day, it was so much harder to paint miniatures. Okay, I'm sorry, now being an asshole.
But you might find out that it actually isn't as big of a gap that you told yourself it would be.
Yeah. Like a lot of people have that background in assembling model kits or like airplanes with like their dad, their mom, like in their childhood. So that's definitely a point of relation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of my friends that's like my fantasy football friend or whatever, he's I've known him for 30 years. We kind of not that long, 25 years. We originally met when we both worked at the video store. He's a couple of years older than me, but he's a sports guy, really big Twins fan and that kind of stuff. But I talked to him about this stuff because he asked me, about the YouTube channel and that kind of stuff, and he's interested, but he's not. He's one of those things where it's like he's interested because it's something that I'm doing. He's not interested because he actually has an interest in it. Sure. And I know that and I respect that. And he asks me questions. I talk about it, but I don't like get in depth on stuff because that's one thing we as nerds need to be aware of. You need to have the social cues to understand that just because someone asks you a question about something doesn't mean you need to go into a 45-minute speech about why the Space Wolves are actually the best chapter.
Yes.
Feel the setting out a little bit.
Yes.
Don't drown them when they were just asking for a cup of water. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I respect that. We keep that distance, but I'm not hiding anything from.
This is called reading the room. It's a very valuable skill when you're trying to bury your shameful hobby deep down.
But I do think you got those nerd friends, right? You got them. Let's do that. I want to Okay, you have more to.
I got more. Yeah.
I do too, but I think that my next thing was going to maybe be a bit of a transition.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Let's sit here a little bit if you got more to sit on.
I don't have anything to do with that. I'm moving on.
Move on then.
Do you want to move? Okay. Yeah, sure. You got friends. You want to get them involved? Make it easy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Make it easy. Okay. Invite them over. Have a palette for them. Have a brush for them. Have paints they can use. Have a mini primed and a handle. Whatever. Make it simple. So they can stroll right up, sit down, and you can tell them exactly what to do. It's like, start with this paint, or start with whatever paint you think it looks coolest. Let's do some base coats, Just make it easy. Play some music that you like. Maybe have a snack. Like, make it fucking fun, dude.
This is really fucking romantic right now.
I know. Like, get the fucking candle lights out. Maybe implant a kiss on them.
Listen, that Mephiston red looks so good on your Minnie's lips. I wonder what it would look like on your lips.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Don't do that.
I mean, or do, and tell us about it in the comments section.
Yeah, make it fun and make it easy,
Okay.
I love making things fun.
This is exactly where I was going to go with this.
Excellent.
Is lower the barrier of entry.
Yes.
So here's a weird way that you can actually take anybody. This is like your mom's, your spouse, your niece and nephew.
No.
You can bring them all in. This is like Canvas and Chardonnay. You know what Canvas and Chardonnay is?
Chardonnay. Okay. No, I'm just gonna say no.
Okay,
not
Canvas,
even gonna guess.
It's called by a lot of different bullshit names.
It's fabric.
It's a name of a business, but it's kind of a business model. They're called all sorts of other bullshit names. It's where you go to this place and there's a teacher there and they paint a picture and you paint the same picture and you drink wine. Like it's a popular thing these days.
Yeah.
A lot of housewives like to do that on the
get
weekend.
the ladies together.
Yeah, and they spend
tipsy.
and they spend like $200 for like a glass of wine and some shitty ass like folk art craft paints and a 79-cent canvas, and the ladies up there painting flowers and you're painting flowers. It's a racket. But people like that crap. So what you're doing is you just set up, okay, that crap works. I, instead of Canvas and Chardonnay CNC, mine's going to be Diet Dew and Dwarves. Like, you come to my house, I give you a can of Diet Dew.
D&D.
You paint a dwarf. Bam. Like, that's our time. Like,
Yeah.
You can walk through it. You can have everyone like this. Exactly. Like, this is a good, like, bonding experience. Like, when I paint with my daughter, I don't just, like, give her crap and then be like, paint the thing. Like, we do it together.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any interest in Warhammer or anything like that, but she wants to do something together.
Yeah.
And we have fun. The same thing could be is like, a night with our buddies instead of us, sitting around and, playing,
Checkers.
Right. That's usually what I play.
And eating pretzels. Now you're painting me eating Doritos.
Yeah, this is an upgrade.
Yeah.
It's like we're hanging out, we're chatting, we're not taking it too serious. We're all sitting around the table together. I'm walking you through stuff so that it's there's no pressure to do that. You don't want them to like show up thinking they were going to come over and watch the game.
Don't do that.
You're like, actually, guys, I smashed my TV today just so we could paint miniatures instead.
Don't do that.
It's like, all right. You need to either like not tell them details, but get them pumped and make sure they're open.
Don't tell them details, John. Don't trick people into painting minis.
Okay, well, sometimes you need to trick people.
No tricking. Just be like, hey, I have this cool hobby. I want to introduce you to it. And I come over and paint some minis?
Yeah. And when they get there, you're like, I've locked all the doors, so now you have to.
Now you're in my cult.
Yes.
And you have to smell my farts.
I've had them brewing since 2 p.m. this afternoon for this very moment.
I ate a can of Bush's baked beans. And I ate that weird bacon thing in there too.
Oh, the weird one chewy bacon thing.
Yeah, like what is that?
Right.
It's like for flavor, maybe.
It's bacon. They roast the beans of bacon.
I know, but it's just weird. There's always one.
Just one, because they want you to believe that it's in there as an ingredient. There's a guy on the assembly line that's just like one, boop, one,
bacon,
one. It's that dog from the commercials that's doing it. It's a golden retriever going.
But I when I first bought a can, I was like, do I eat this? Is this edible? This is like one of those like flour things you see on fancy plates. So whenever I eat it, I feel like I'm eating grass.
Okay. This is America. So if it weren't edible, you'd know about it because there is warning labels on everything that are like, take off the plastic before you consume. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I saw on a hammer one time a swallowing hazard, and I was like, "Are you fucking for real,
dude? I could swallow so many hammers."
Instant death.
Right, because there's one guy somewhere that's like
trying to swallow a hammer.
He comes into work and he's like, there's a memo on his desk, and he works for like Craftsman. He's like, what the hell? We're getting sued because a dude tried to swallow our hammer?
It's like a sword swallower, like putting the handle down first. And he's suing because it's like advantageous.
Yeah, it's our. Apparently, you need liability insurance. Yeah, I think just making the barrier of entry low to have no expectations, come in and have some fun. I think another key aspect to make that even more successful is either you ask them or you just know them because you're a good friend or son or niece and nephew, and you know what kinds of things they're already interested in. So when they come and they agreed to paint, but maybe you didn't tell them what we're going to paint yet.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah, and it's like, it's freaking Anakin Skywalker. It's my favorite character in all the Star Wars universe. I get to paint him today. This is amazing.
What are we speed painting on the live stream today?
Oh, crap. Oh, that was the thing we were doing.
Yeah.
I brought a different model because I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, do you not want to do that? We don't have to do that.
We still can.
Okay.
I didn't bring another model. Let's go to the source and buy a model quick. Okay.
Anyways, I thought that would have been a good segue, but it wasn't. You got any more advice for the sprudes and spruettes? Still my favorite thing to call people, by the way.
That's a pretty good one.
About converting people to get that scheme going.
I think
don't show them price tags. Dear God,
no. I think showing them the cool shit you have is a good way to do it.
Oh yeah, painted models for sure.
Show them your painted models, like show them your army, that kind of stuff.
Hey,
it's like,
play a game. If you know your audience and they're more into the gaming thing, play a game with them with your models.
Yeah. Other thing that I do, I did this more pre-COVID. I go strut around our local game store or whatever, and the local's owner. This is a different store now. The owner knew that I'm one of the Age of Sigmar guys like to play the game. So when he'd hear someone was interested or whatever, and I'd walk into the store and he'd be like, "Oh, hey, John, Billy over there, he was talking about Age of Sigmar. He had some questions or whatever. He's thinking about trying it." It's like, you go over, you talk to Billy. And you're like, "Hey, Billy, typically on Wednesday nights, there's a couple of us playing games or whatever. Come on over, 7 p.m. on Wednesday, and just hang out with us. We're going to be playing. You can ask questions. You can see how the game is played, whatever." I've never had a situation where Billy comes to hang out and play the game where Billy doesn't start buying models within a week. Every time. Because it's cool. They get to see it and they get to picture it. And then oftentimes a half hour into the game, Billy's on his phone on the Warhammer website, looking at the army's options.
Right.
And so Billy's like, "Oh, what about these lizard people?" And I'm like, "They're stupid." What about these people that look like they're all in bondage uniforms? Also stupid.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Slanesh.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the Dar's King.
Yeah,
Dar's
no,
King.
that's just mostly naked ladies that look mad.
Yeah, real mad.
They're not stupid because they got snake ladies.
Are you
awesome.
Are you a fan of the doc?
I'm not a fan of armies where everything looks same, and they are kind of one of those armies. It's less so because
do you not like Carrigan Overlords?
No, they all look the goddamn same to me. Same with the Fire Slayers.
Yeah.
All look the same to me.
Those especially look very.
They're all naked dwarves in diapers.
Yes.
I like some variation, some options. You know what I mean? That's why I like Soulblight Gravelords. Soulblight Gravelords, the best army for all the best people.
Yes. Join now.
It only costs you one box of Blood Knights. You can send it to P.O. Box 666, care of John, at Minnesota.
At Minnesota.com.
USA. In a week, there's going to be a box of Blood Knights that shows up at my doorstep, and all it says is P.O. Box 666, care of John, Minnesota.
Somehow it's made it to you.
Yes!
Because they spelled the John right with no A.
Yeah! They still spelled John wrong, too.
I feel like we're stretching this topic out a little bit. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so. I think that it's important for you to bust the cap off the bottle of Faygo and just go in and meet the people that already love it. I think that way you don't have to have frustration tied to your hobby around this extra weight. Because sometimes if you take that extra weight of getting other people to love it because you love it, it can kind of grind on you, and it starts to have a negative impact on your own hobby, and that's not healthy either. Like if you love it, don't bring in negativity associated with it. So find people that love it, especially in today's day and age. You can find them out there on the old Goody PP Facebook group. You can find them in the comment section here. You can make internet friends with random strangers. And then you can find people locally to play your game with too.
Yeah.
I'd say once that fun starts happening, if the people are your regular friends, it will probably happen naturally. You can put some effort into it, but don't rely on that in order for you to like just enjoy the thing you want to enjoy.
Yeah. I will say, as a way to hedge a little bit, a lot of this kind of comes down to just your ability to communicate and be like a good friend and stuff like that. You don't want to like inundate people with like Space Marine lore, like John was saying earlier. You don't want to like jam it down people's throats that are clearly not interested. So it kind of comes down to your ability to be a good human a little bit. So
yeah, I think that's probably fair. Don't be a bad person.
Yeah, just at all times.
All the time. So just be like, hey, James, remember that time I gave you one of my kidneys? You were dying of renal failure. I need you to pay that back right now.
Can you
here?
I need you to be my friend.
Buy these Lumineth Rumblings. paint them and play me every Sunday until you fucking die for real this time.
Jesus Christ. All right. With that as our last thing that we just said, after saying be a good person, let's talk about some news.
We got some news up in this biznatch.
Adepticon announced their dates when the hotel block will open for purchasing, and it is actually the day before this episode. No, the day after this episode comes out. So we will finally have relevant, useful information for the first day. So if you're going to Adepticon, the Hotel Schaumburg will open up its rooms to purchase on the 24th, and I believe this comes out on the 23rd, right? I wrote it down. 23rd, yeah. Also this year, which is new, the Adepticon venue is spanning two venues. Sorry, the event is spanning two venues. The normal Renaissance Schaumburg, and then one that is kind of far away. 5-10 minutes away on a highway, on a freeway?
Yeah, I'm sure you have to cross that freeway.
Okay.
Like you remember there's that like when you leave the hotel thing, there's it looks like a bridge thing, but it's just going across the freeway. I don't think you have to get on the freeway to get to it.
Yeah.
But
so what are your thoughts in this? Because I have some thoughts.
I think obviously it stinks that, it's awesome that the thing is growing so big that they need to expand. I don't think that's a bad thing. Growth is great. It means more nerds are coming, more interest, more diversity in what kinds of things you can do at a convention. That's never a bad thing. And I think they're just kind of in bed with Schaumburg. Like if there was the Renaissance Schaumburg, that location.
Yeah,
if there was a different location they could go to that was bigger so everything was under one roof, it's like, freaking do that. But splitting it amongst two areas that you can't just walk 2 minutes to is kind of a pain in the ass. But it's I put myself in their shoes. Like it's probably the best solution. Then they get more hotel blocks. They get shuttles going back and forth from one to the other all the time. You get more parking over there. Like, I don't think it's terrible. Is it ideal? No. But I ain't got no problem with it.
I think I have a very, very minor problem with it. Generally, segregation of any kind isn't good. And they were talking about putting the historical people over there. And while I'm not super into Saga and Flames of War and stuff like that, I still really enjoy walking around and seeing all of it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't want to walk around and see a bunch of fucking 40K and Age of Sigmar. I want to see all kinds of crazy different games.
Yeah.
I want to see all kinds of crazy different people. Bless you. So, okay, obviously they're doing it for a reason. They're not doing it to segregate people.
No.
They're doing it because they ran out of space.
Somebody's got to be there.
Right. They ran out. So, it's interesting. I never went to the Adepticon and was like, wow, we need more space. Maybe there's just so many events to run and so many different games to run that they do need the additional space so they can run other different tournaments and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting.
Because last year that they had one, they did have a weird off-site thing. But it wasn't talked about very much. It was just kind of they did. I remember because one of the things I wanted to do, if I had time, it worked out, whatever, I wanted to play in a Keyforge tournament. So Keyforge is probably not a dead game, but that's a card game.
I'm very interested in that game.
It's very fun. Okay. But they had a draft tournament for it. So it's just like you go there, you get they give you a deck, you buy a deck, you play in the tournament. I was like, if it worked out for timing, it's not like really big investment, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I found out that event was actually at this other location. And I didn't even know much about what it was, where it was, and all this. But I knew it existed, so I was just like, oh well, I guess I'm not gonna do it because I'm not gonna
go that far.
Align it all up, figure out if I gotta take a shuttle. It basically take up half of a day to do this one thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Then never mind. So I didn't. But
also, you were indisposed every single day.
What are you talking about, indisposed? I was very disposed. I was so disposed. There's a good chance I'll be disposed next time I see you goody peepees at Adepticon too.
Next news, GW promises you will get a Kill Team box. I don't know if it's a promise you can make, GW.
Right. So this is freaking hilarious. Did you read this actual article?
No.
So in the article, they're like, and they did a little bit of coming forward and spitting some truth that we all knew, but they've never stated before. It's like, we understand that times in the past, we've had pre-orders, especially of our bigger boxes things. You didn't all get one. If you wanted one, the pre-order was open, you didn't all get one. So this time we're making the commitment that if at any time in the weekend you go on to Warhammer.com and you pre-order this box, you'll get one. Caveat, the later in the weekend you decide to do it, the longer you might have to wait, up till months. Like they said, months. Which, whatever.
That's fair.
But the thing that really made me laugh, and I was interested to see that they spattered multiple times throughout this article, was shitting on scalpers. So much so that I think they were deflecting blame on themselves of not making enough product to really having an understanding of what their customer base is and how much they should make. They can't figure out how to estimate for shit apparently, but they put it all that scalpers are buying all their stuff. That's why you don't get it. That's why we've always, that things have run out and then you didn't get one when you wanted to pre-order one. It's because of scalpers. I mean, them addressing that scalpers is a thing in their hobby and is whatever is good. Them deflecting from it pretty heavily and passing blame. I'm just like, scalpers don't have a thing if the supply is large enough that they cease to then make a profit and they don't do it. So I guess that you probably can't entirely get rid of it, but it feels like it's such a major factor in limited release things by Games Workshop.
Do you think that there are people in the world that have zero interest in anything to do with the hobby that buy the products exclusively to resale?
100%.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
There are people, I mean, this is not untrue in many aspects of collectible stuff. Like in Magic, there are there's a ton of people, deep pocket people that could give a shit less about Magic, that they do it for the money. Same thing with baseball cards, same thing with collectibles.
Interesting.
And same thing with this. It's an avenue. It's the cost expense analysis of how difficult is it for me to make money? How much money can I make? It's just a bar graph. And if you peak above this part on the bar graph, it's worth it for me. And different people may be at different spots where it's worth it for them or not. So yeah, it's 100%. It's that's a video game market for that too. People do that with video games.
Wait, scalping video games?
Yeah, because there's a lot of video games, particularly Japanese RPGs are a great example of this in the West, where that they're very low, limited release, very hard to, Best Buys and Targets and Amazons don't carry these things. You have to kind of order them. So these people will buy them for $50 a pop and they sell them for $120 a pop because you just couldn't. And then especially 3 months after the game's out, it's just, you physically cannot get it. So they can ask what they want. So yeah, it's just flipping stuff.
I wonder if that's someone's job, is to buy a bunch of limited edition collectible items and then resell them.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that do that full time as a job.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah. That is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's parasitical. That's nuts.
I mean, it's a lot of work though too, because you always have to be one step ahead and know what's the next thing.
So
too.
what? It's not redeemable at all. I understand you're saying like there's like a little bit of a silver lining, you know. It's a hustle.
Capitalism. It works because it's the market that we live in. That supply and demand is a thing.
Okay.
You know, I don't think it's. I'm not saying it's like morally incorrect or correct. I'm not saying it's probably the nicest thing to do, but it's also you're not like selling children on the black market either. I mean, there's a lot worse things you could do.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. In the world of things that are legal.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
legal.
trashy thing to do.
It's legal. So yeah, and it doesn't mean I'm defending people that do that. It's really fucking frustrating.
No, I understand. You're saying devil's advocate right now. I get it. All right. I have no idea what this last one is.
Okay, I heard this on my drive up here this morning. So there's a new movie called Free Guy starring Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, I saw that. Yeah.
You saw the movie?
No, I saw the trailer for it. Sorry.
Okay. It is basically like the Truman Show, but video games. I don't know if you ever watched the Truman Show.
I did. A very good movie.
Where he's a character. I'm not going to give any spoilers here because I haven't seen the movie. I don't know. Basically, he's a character in a video game. He doesn't know he's in a video game. Okay, and then he finds out he's in a video game. He's basically in a Grand Theft Auto style game. Anyway, on the sports radio show that I listen to often in the morning, they every Friday, or they don't do it anymore because of COVID, but they used to every Friday. They have their movie critic guy from the movie industry come on, and he'd talk about the new movies that were coming out, and he'd seen everything before it come out, give his take on it and everything. It's a nice little 5-minute little thingy that they do. And he was he came on today and he was talking about this. And he's like, he's got kids. He's got a couple of kids between the ages of I think 10 and 16 or whatever. And when he came back from his screening of this movie, his 3 kids came up and they were asking about did you see so-and-so in it? Did you see so-and-so in it? Where were they at? What thing were they doing? Blah, blah, blah. What were they? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't know who any of these people are. I know the movie industry. I don't know who these actors are. Who are these people? What are you talking about? All his kids were, because apparently this movie's got a ton of cameos. Okay. It's also a movie that's made by Disney, so I'm sure there's Disney characters and stuff in it, but also actors and actresses that are in their cameos. The big push, the big interest for young people and what they're excited about this movie, the cameos, are YouTubers
and streamers. Yep.
Yeah, YouTubers and streamers, and I'm like, fucking meat shilling here at the earth, motherfucker.
What'd you say? Meat shilling in the earth, motherfucker, is what I heard.
Meat shilling in the earth, motherfucker. Isn't that what the Doom guy says right before he shoots the one-eyed floaty eyeball thing?
Yeah, I think so. With the BFG, yeah.
Yeah, meat shilling in the earth, motherfucker. No, I said the meek shall inherit the earth.
Oh, wow. Okay, much more biblical. Okay. Yeah, dude.
That's freaking blows my mind.
Yeah. I think I already told you, my wife used to work for a school district, and the school district wanted to have me come in and talk about being a YouTuber because all the kids want to be streamers and YouTubers when they grow up, all the 5th, 6th, 7th graders.
Well, you better pay attention in English class and math class.
What the fuck? Hold on. Was there a job like that when you were in grade school? Everyone wants to grow up to be X. Fireman, actor, actress, astronaut, rock star.
All the kids want to be athletes. They want to be a professional baseball player and all that kind of.
Yeah, I didn't have a consistent one. Maybe we're kind of just overemphasizing how consistent it is across young
it's
people.
Still probably not super. Whatever.
Okay.
But it's on the radar. I tell you, before. Where I currently work, my job before this is I managed our long-term talent acquisition. What that meant was I managed all the programs for high school outreach and college undergrad outreach. So getting kids aware of and interested in careers in the medical field, showing them all the possibilities, that it's just not just doctors and nurses, and helping them with resources and kind of help them with their path, discover what they want to do. A great thing about that job was that I wasn't critiqued based on how many people came and worked for us. My job was not for me to get people to all come work for our hospital. My job was to help get kids excited for their own future and feel like that's an attainable path, no matter what it would be. Because at the end of the day, and this is why my organization is an awesome organization, they understand that if kids can find something that they're excited about and they work towards it, they're good members of the community. And if you're a good member of the community, our community, where our hospital is going to be a greater place.
Much more honorable than scalping.
I mean, also, yes, it is.
Also, I buy diabetes medication. It's over twice the price.
Also, I grab livers out of the Liverpool.
The Liverpool.
Is that how that city got its name?
There's a pool of
All my British peeps out there? Is there a pool filled with livers?
No.
I grab a liver out of the liver pod, and I like turn around and sell it on eBay. Make 50 grand.
It's a quick 50 grand.
Oh, man.
Buy a Lambo.
Gosh.
In 6 weeks.
6 squeaks?
6 weeks. Right? Doesn't a Lambo cost like $300,000?
It depends on what kind of Lambo. Yeah, they're between like 2 and 1.2.
What about like a Bugatti Veyron?
You Bugatti, not mention that again. That's not a joke. Man, I remember earlier I was going to say that I was going to use this little squeegee thing to suck the Bugattis out of my nose.
I actually have a thing for like sucking boogers out of like baby's nose.
Oh yeah.
And I use it with my folk machine, my smoke machine.
Your foot machine.
No. So I the fog machine. I fog into the thing when it's
Squeege.
fully compressed, and as I turn the thing on, I uncompress it, and then I have a booger sucker full of smoke, and then I go and cuss it onto like little scenes, and while I'm filming, it's like a little puff instead of like a full on fucking miasma of clouds.
Yeah.
Like,
what are we looking at?
Yeah, I can't see anything.
It's so smoky in here.
Yeah, you gotta have little puffs. Anyways,
Yeah.
free guy doing camp. Wait, what the fuck? Does that have anything to do with miniatures? John,
Because it's YouTube, and we're on YouTube right now.
hey,
So I think there needs to be a movie. It goes back to we talked about, I think, last episode. There needs to be a movie that has to do with miniatures.
this is a thing. I accuse John of bringing up something unrelated to the hobby, and then he finds some very narrow way to relate it to the hobby.
That's what I'm good at.
Yeah, it's one of the many things you're good at.
Scott, I think your airbrush is broken. It doesn't seem to be working.
That's kind of fits really well.
It does. Like, feel how snug that is. It feels so good.
I mean, it is tapered, so.
feels so fucking good.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
My weight to it. I still don't think that airbrush works very well, but it's all right. I think that's all the news we have for today. That's some good news. Look, we did a news that didn't have anything to do with Games Workshop. That was the other reason I put that on there. I wanted to have a non-Games Workshop related news item.
We had one about Games Workshop.
I know, but we had one that wasn't.
We had two that wasn't. There was already one that wasn't.
Well, we needed 3 because 3 is a nice even number of news items.
Actually, it's an odd number.
Well, it's a prime number.
That's true, too. Welcome to the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening to us.
I just want butter.
Butter is important to me. Got that reference.
Woo!
Okay. Thank you all for listening to us talk and be probably slightly offensive at several points in this podcast, as we have a tendency to do. We enjoy your company. Wait, you're not company right now. You're just listening to us.
We mean no harm by the words that we say.
I really want to do a live episode of this at a convention.
Can we plan on doing that at Adepticon?
I would love to do that.
Listen here. I hear that you guys have like 200 people come to that GW release thing. Okay. We're going to have 2,000.
We're definitely not.
At the top live.
We're definitely not.
Why? Because we're giving away Diet Dude.
Yeah, but I can just imagine doing it live and then someone shouts like "Tendy" in the background. I don't want to. I
want that.
I don't want to encourage that. I don't want to encourage it, but I want it to happen like once. Okay, so everyone just figures out who's that one guy who gets to shout "Tendy." Okay.
All right. Yeah, we voted. It was Doug. Doug gets to shout Tendy.
Doug's a Tendy shouter.
Yeah. He gets to shout it 3 times, but they have to be at least 20 minutes apart.
Okay.
I so want to do a live one because I want to have like topics from the audience or questions from the audience.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
all right, you guys need to talk about. We're gonna say 3 words. Okay, we're gonna say like, okay, give me one word. This word they'll be like umbrella,
Mustard.
a mustard, umbrella, and artichoke. Okay, we've got to talk for 3 minutes or less, and we have to pull those words together into something very interesting and related to mini painting. And it'll be a giant train wreck. It'll be hilarious. Okay. So, bam, that's topic 1. Okay. Questions from the audience. That's topic 2. We got this all figured out. And then
we got this all figured out.
Now
he says as he figures it out live right now.
We need some kind of speakers, though.
Oh, yeah, I can. Wait. Oh. So people can hear us?
Yeah, I want to boom.
So I assume
the
venue would handle that.
They use their fucking speakers. You remember going to anything that we went to? Like the guys from the Warhammer reveal was like,
Fire Slayers.
yeah, you couldn't understand a goddamn word they said, and we were like 20 feet from them.
Okay, you can buy a PA system, okay?
Fine, I would do that. It would be very good. Okay.
All right. If you want to come top live, let us know.
Tup Live?
We'll make it
Tup
work.
Live. We need your input. What would make Tup Live an experience? Like what's the topics? What's the layout?
Do you want people walking around with fucking shirt cannons, dude?
Yeah, dude. T-shirt cannon. But here's the key though. In order to get a T-shirt from the T-shirt cannon, you got to take it point blank.
And he's got to fucking stand there like Revolutionary War style.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine. Why would you fight like that?
And then the dudes in the second row after the first row goes, and they get annihilated.
You're just like, fuck.
You have to stand there, like you sit there and like hold your pee-pee while you're waiting for them to shoot after you shot.
Yeah, that's such a fucking manly way to fight, dude.
No, it is. It's dumb white people way to fight.
It is, but also like, can you imagine standing there? Okay, anyways, historical interlude aside, if you like the podcast, which at this point, if you're still listening, I'm certain you do. There are many ways to support us. You can buy some merch. We got a link below via Teespring. We have 2 designs there, a couple of hoodies, a couple of t-shirts, a couple of female t-shirts as well. For the
we have different styles, yes.
The various styles, yes. We also have a Patreon where you get all kinds of fun stuff. Really just one fun thing. It's an extended episode of the podcast where you get access to us talking about new things we tried in the hobby, cool models that are painted by other people that we like. We also give feedback to an audience member or a patron member. So as part of being a patron, you get access to giving us models to give feedback live during an episode. But you also can give us topics to discuss. Like today was from, I think it was like Bean Brain or Brain Bean.
Bean Brain.
Something like that.
Bean Brain.
And we'll kind of remember your name, you know?
Yeah. So that's more than one thing. Like the one thing is you get the after party, but the other things is you get to you get a direct connection to us. So you can message us there as well.
Yes.
Talk to us, but also your ideas can make the podcast what it is. So if the podcast starts to suck, then it's
honestly,
on you.
It's kind of your fault. Honestly, you get to perpetuate us doing this as a job. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's your fault. If you don't got any money to spare, that's totally fine. You can tell your nerd friends about our podcast. You can give us a review. Only 5 stars, please, on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. Or you can watch our podcast without ads. We place an ad every 30 minutes. That's all for now, John.
That was all the things, I think.
You got anything to say to the old Sprudes, the old Tipperinos, the old D-suckers, the old what's the last one?
Goody pee-pees?
Goody pee-pees.
Are you or are you not a goody pee-pee? Head over to the Facebook group. Start a new topic that's called Tup Live Ideas. Everyone pig pile on Tup ideas. And then we can maybe do a poll or something where people can add their ideas and then people can vote other people's ideas.
Maybe
somebody that is productive will start that.
Maybe we should make sure that we can actually make it happen before kind of promising it.
I don't care if I got to do it in the parking lot.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, fuck it. If we can't do it, Adepticon, we'll just do it in here. We can just do this live, whatever.
Oh, do it live on Twitch or something?
It's on Twitch or on the Tup's YouTube channel.
Oh shit, that's right. We have the technology.
Yes, and we could have audience questions there as well. We couldn't do shirt cannons, but
we can do
virtual.
We can do shirt cannons.
It's like a little gift that plays. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen for
I
something.
want it live though too.
We're coming up on
Well, maybe
2
both.
years. We're
Maybe
coming up on
both.
2 years anniversary here.
2 years? We've been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah, because this is episode 24.
Oh crap!
Two
And then
episodes.
do we go to season 3 once we hit a year? Like, how does this season system work? You made the season system. I don't understand.
I made it. I created it.
created the season system.
We can do whatever we want because this is our podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We don't have any producers, which is good and bad.
Yeah, it is mostly not good. We don't have anybody over our shoulder being like,
Excuse me, guys. You probably should not be doing that.
You cannot make racist Chinese accents.
I'm playing his character.
I know. I'm just joking.
It's an accent.
I know, but it can be misconstrued.
Okay, I get that. I mean no harm by it. I just like accents.
Yeah. The best kind of humor is funny sounds and funny words.
yeah.
Because I'm 7. Anyways, before I try to dig myself out of any further holes that I may have got myself into.
No, the hole that you threw me into.
John's racist. I'll catch you next episode on Dude.
Flippity flop! I'm not racist.